My lord! Don't worry. I will keep you safe, little one. I swear it. On my life.
A few moments later.
Holy sh!
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to this series where we're counting down the top Dynasty Warriors characters as of the latest game. In this episode, number 75, we're going to go over Liu Shan, Liu Bei's eldest son and successor to the Shu Kingdom. He's also infamously known as Ado, and he's the baby in the intro who gets saved by Zhao Yun. Now, before we get into Liu Shan and break him down as a character and how he's changed over the last few games, let's go ahead and take a look at the rankings and see how Liu Shan ended up in 75th. On the first popularity poll, Liu Shan received 177 votes out of a total of 75,000, putting him down in the 80th spot. In the second popularity poll, he came in at 54th, and then in my personal rankings, Liu Shan is down at 65th. So Liu Shan is 75th on our list. He is the baby in the intro of this video, and Zhao Yun is the officer rescuing him when the Shu forces are retreating from the Battle of Changban, and they somehow left him behind. Zhao Yun goes back to get him, grabs him, somehow manages to rescue him and get him back to the Shu Kingdom and his family unharmed. I'm sure the game overly exaggerated how he got him back. I'm sure Zhao Yun didn't kick a bunch of horses in the face and, you know, fly up in the air and grab a bunch of swords and all that. But Liu Shan becomes a playable character in Dynasty Warriors 7. The weapon he uses is the rapier, and he maintains that weapon throughout all of the games that he's been in so far. So Dynasty Warriors 7, 8, and 9, except for the expansion. But because I'm not covering the expansions in my analysis videos, we're not going to worry about it. So he gets the rapier. It's a pretty good weapon. I don't really have too much to complain about it. It's actually pretty good to use, at least in the 9th version. The 7th and 8th version is okay, but Dynasty Warriors 9, it works really well with the new system of the execution mode. After he follows up one of his power attacks, he stands still and he just starts jabbing at him with his weapon, and it initiates the execution button a lot faster. It's just it's a really cool weapon. I mean, I breezed through most of the stages pretty easily without much resistance. So it was a pretty good weapon, can't complain about it. It fits him well. He is a ruler. Most rulers have swords. They don't really have anything too fancy. So let's talk about Liu Shan's personality and you know, what he went through as the Emperor of Shu. So being the Emperor of Shu, basically, you know, he's the head of the whole kingdom. He became the head of the kingdom at 16 years old. He was a young man with a mountain of expectations because of who his father was. Liu Bei was a man of virtue, benevolence. He created the Shu Kingdom, and he attracted a lot of people to this vision of, hey, I'm going to build a world of peace and benevolence. If you follow me, I can make that happen. So he attracted a lot of, you know, very powerful officers, strategists, and when he passed away, all those people were now looking to Liu Shan to continue on the legacy that Liu Bei has left behind. In the beginning, Liu Shan pretty much leaves all the diplomacy and actions to Zhuge Liang. He doesn't really have any input himself. He doesn't really, you know, whatever is, he pretty much says, like, whatever you think is best, Zhuge Liang, you do it, and, you know, I'll go with it. He kind of just let them do what they want. Like, whatever Zhuge Liang decided, that's what they went with. He didn't really have any opposition to it at all. Now, when Zhuge Liang passes away and they recruit Jiang Wei and takes the place of Zhuge Liang, that's when Liu Shan starts to become a little more resistant. Actually, I wouldn't say resistant, I would say more questioning. Dynasty Warriors 9 did a great job with his story, basically showing the, you know, the fight that he was having within himself of, you know, Liu Shan was very aware that he wasn't as strong as his father, but he definitely had the benevolence and the virtue from his father. He wanted to bring peace and benevolence to his people, and I think early on, I think he understood that he needed to be one of the ones to surrender first. First of all, they weren't making any progress with the Northern Campaign. Dynasty Warriors 9 does a great job of depicting that instance when Jiang Wei makes several attempts to try to continue the Northern Campaign that Zhuge Liang started. They all failed, and in the end, Liu Shan had to make a pretty hard decision of surrendering to Wei, surrendering to Sima Zhao and the Wei army when they approached the Shu capital. A lot of people weren't too happy about it, especially Jiang Wei. There was a cutscene at the end where, Jiang Wei is in handcuffs because, the kingdom is fallen, and he's just saying, like, why did you give up when we could have kept fighting?
Jiang Wei, forgive me for causing you such pain.
Why? Why did you surrender? We could still fight. We could have fought. And achieved all of the Prime Minister's wishes. Why?
Jiang Wei was so adamant on pushing the Northern Campaign. Even when Liu Shan would just question him, like, why? Like, why do you want to do it, And, the answer to, he was just because of everybody that came before me. He was stuck in the past. He was stuck in this, ideal of benevolence has to be achieved by us dominating everybody else. And I think Liu Shan is a true symbol of benevolence when he understands that that's not the way that you should achieve benevolence. If you're trying to achieve true peace, he should be the first one to surrender, especially when he meets Sima Zhao, and he senses that similarity that they have, because Sima Zhao is also another young commander who was thrusted into power when he didn't really want to be there, and he had to take over the roles of the people that came before him. So the game does a great job of showing how Liu Shan was fighting this the whole time. They were, at the beginning, like I said, he just left it to everybody else to decide what to do. And when Zhuge Liang passed away, he started to come out of his shell more, but he was still hesitant. He was like, I wish I could just speak my mind without having to feel bad, kind of thing, because he was getting negative reactions when he was just asking questions.
Jiang Wei, why do you continue to make these offensive campaigns to the north?
How? How can you ask that of me, my lord? Lord Liu Bei and the Prime Minister wanted to defeat Cao Wei. The officers and troops are fighting. The commoners are working in order to achieve that goal. And you ask me why?
No, that's not what I mean. I'm just not good at expressing exactly how I truly feel. Continuing a fight that hurts the people for the sake of a dream. I cannot help but feel beyond awful about the situation. What are we doing? I cannot help but wonder where we are headed with all of this.
So, and then finally at the end, when Shu was surrounded and stuff like that, he finally surrendered, and Jiang Wei and the people weren't happy either, throwing rocks at him while he was leaving. Pretty heartbreaking for Liu Shan, but yeah, that's pretty much what Liu Shan went through. We did his weapon style. Voice acting, I think his voice acting is amazing. I don't have any complaints about his voice acting. He actually has a different voice actor from 7, 8, and 9. So 7 and 8 I think were the same one. 9 was a different person, but he did a really good job because it actually, I thought it was the same person. It sounded really good. I don't have any complaints about his voice acting. Let's go ahead and talk about Liu Shan's relationship with other people. Now, Liu Shan had his closest relationships with Zhuge Liang, Jiang Wei, and Jing Kai. He also had a close relationship with a non-playable character known as Huang Hao. When going through his story, Huang Hao, he appeared out of nowhere. I don't really know where he came from, honestly. He kind of just came out of nowhere, but he was a advisor to Liu Shan. he was kind of against what Jiang Wei wanted to do. He was trying to find a way to try to like stop him from going and doing the Northern Campaign. The way he went about it was a little shady. He would do anything to kind of have it his way. And when the Shu forces are on the verge of victory in one of the battles of the Northern Campaign, and they get called back by a false rumor that someone told them to come back, I think it was this guy that did it.
Didn't you say that the previous Northern Campaign would be the last? You have been defeated. Take it like a man and realize your day is done.
I was never defeated. I was thwarted by a dastardly plan hatched by traitors in our midst.
But pathetic! You'll make up any excuse!
So he had a close relationship with Huang Hao. Huang Hao pretty much served the role as advisor when Zhuge Liang left, and Jiang Wei was more of the commander of the army and less of an advisor. So, but Zhuge Liang, as soon as Liu Bei died and Liu Shan was put into power, he pretty much left all the decisions up to Zhuge Liang, and he was so afraid when Zhuge Liang was like on the verge of dying, when he was feeling sick and all this other stuff, that he was like, you need to find somebody else to replace you so that way I don't have to worry about it. That's kind of how it came across, and I get it. He's a young kid, he doesn't really want to, he's not really interested in war like that, but because of who his dad was, he has to do it, which kind of sucks. And then he has a relationship with Jiang Wei. The relationship between Jiang Wei and Liu Shan was probably not a friendship or like a close buddy friend kind of thing. It was more of like a permissive thing where Jiang Wei just came up to him and was like, this is what we're going to do. And when Liu Shan at first would just be like, that's fine, but he was also questioning it. He would start to question it, and Jiang Wei would be all offended about it, and he'd be like, what do you mean, why are we going to go to war? Because everybody before us that died is what they were fighting for. I'm going to continue fighting for what they were fighting for. So it's unfortunate how blinded Jiang Wei and a lot of the officers were at the time, because they couldn't see that, like I said before, they all joined with the idea of let's build a land of benevolence, but we can't be under anybody else, we have to build it ourselves, kind of thing. And I think that leads to a lot of the Shu's downfall because of how adamant they were about it. And then lastly we have Jing Kai. Jing Kai was Liu Shan's bodyguard, and she was also the daughter of Zhang Fei. She was just there, always at his side, making sure he was okay, and just playing the role of a bodyguard pretty much. She's also in most of his cutscenes, talking to him, making sure he's okay, and all that good stuff. And then last but not least, let's go over Liu Shan's appearance. Now, he pretty much has the same look throughout the entire game. He was designed to be a normal person with a smiling visage, who additionally dresses in a fashion fitting for an emperor. So Liu Shan's got a very interesting look on his face all the time. It kind of looks like he's in pain most of the time. It's like a forced smile as he's discussing what to do next for war, or perhaps he's trying to voice his opinion. But you don't really see him genuinely happy until the end of all the games, except for maybe Dynasty Warriors 9, when he's celebrating with the Wei team, when he's celebrating with his enemies pretty much, and he's he doesn't have anybody around to tell him what to do. Is what he says himself. So I sympathize with him because of how much pressure he was put on at such a young age. And like I said, he's a benevolent ruler. I think he's the most benevolent person out of the entire kingdom. And he understood that he didn't have to be the one to rule the land in order to make a benevolent land. He just had to be the one to stop fighting. I mean, that's the way to make a peaceful land, is to put down your weapon and to stop fighting. But his looks pretty much stayed the same throughout all the games. To Liu Shan, pretending to be a fool was safer than causing unintended harm to others. So I believe that's why he was so, it was so easy for him to surrender to Wei, because like I said before, he was trying to find a way to make his people suffer less. Unfortunately, when that time came, Liu Shan was hated for what he did, and it was evident in his ending at Dynasty Warriors 9. Dynasty Warriors 7, 8, like I said, he didn't really have a lot of in-depth story around him. He kind of just surrendered, and they were sad or whatever, but it wasn't like the way Dynasty Warriors 9 depicted it. I think they did, like I said, I think they did a great job with his story. It was a pretty good story. I was actually quite intrigued as I was playing it because I never played as Liu Shan before, so it was quite interesting. But that's all I really have for Liu Shan, also known as Ado as a child. But that's pretty much all I have for him. He's number 75 on our list. Number 74 will be coming out here shortly. And that's all I really have for you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys have any questions or anything, feel free to let me know. What do you guys think about Liu Shan and what he went through as the ruler of the Shu Kingdom? Let me know down in the comment section. But other than that, guys, hope you guys enjoyed it. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching, everyone.